Hello from Dhaka, this is Moutush Jubaida Rahman and you are watching BSS News. At first, the headlines. RPO Amendment Gazette, respective party symbols must be used in coalition polls. Home Advisor asks police to play impartial role in upcoming election. Mahfouz Alam for unity among anti-fascist forces to implement reforms. Jamaat Amir returns home. Millions of Americans to get reduced food aid during shutdown, says Trump administration. Now the details. RPO Amendment Gadget. Respective party symbols must be used in coalition polls. Ordinance 2025 introducing major electoral reforms. Most notably, political parties contesting under an alliance must now use their individual party symbols. The Ministry of Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs issued the gadget on Monday following the Advisory Council's approval on 23rd October. The amendment ordinance introduces several key changes for the upcoming national election. These include the reintroduction of the no vote option and the classification of artificial intelligence misuses as an electoral offence. Under the new law, anyone declared fugitive by a court will be disqualified from contesting. The definition of law enforcement agencies now includes the Army, Navy, Air Force and Coast Guard. If two candidates receive equal votes, a re-election will be held instead of a lottery. The election deposit has been increased to 50,000 taka, while violating the Electoral Code of Conduct may result in a 1,50,000 taka fine or 6 months imprisonment. An IT-supported postal voting system has been introduced for expatriates, government officials outside their constituencies and voters under lawful custody. The Election Commission can now cancel the results of an entire constituency if irregularities are found. The ordinance also bars anyone holding an executive post in an educational institution or organization from running in elections. Candidates must declare domestic and foreign income sources and their latest tax returns. The provision for electronic voting machines has been abolished. Journalists will be allowed to enter polling stations and observe vote counting as stated in Articles 29 and 36. Home Advisor asks police to play impartial role in upcoming election. Home Advisor Lieutenant General retired Mohammad Jahangir Alam Choudhury has urged the police to remain impartial in ensuring that the upcoming 13th parliamentary elections are held in a free, fair, credible and festive manner. He told journalists after a core committee meeting on law and order at the Home Ministry in the Bangladesh Secretariat. The Home Advisor warned that any police officer showing negligence or bias in performing duties during the election will be brought to book immediately. The Electoral Inquiry Committee will take prompt action against any biased policeman, he added. Jahangir also warned individuals making provocative speeches online, both from within the country and abroad, saying stricter action will be taken against them. On the issue of looted police firearms, he said efforts are underway to recover them. About extrajudicial killings, he said that those found involved will have to face music, regardless of their identity. On fugitive police officers who fled abroad after the July mass uprising, the advisor said the government is trying to repatriate them through discussions with countries that have extradition treaties with Bangladesh. The Home Advisor also urged the media to continue reporting on these issues to ensure transparency and accountability. Mahfouz Alam for unity among anti-fascist forces to implement reforms. Information and Broadcasting Advisor Muhammad Mahfouz Alam today called on all anti-fascist forces to unite and cooperate with the government to implement reforms. He told a meeting with the families of the July martyrs at the Ramganj Upazila Parishad Auditorium. Advisor Mahfouz Alam said, following the path of the martyrs, we will fight again. We aim not only to overthrow the fascist regime of the Awami League, but also to bring justice to all remnants of Awami League fascism in administration, education and culture. He highlighted several reform initiatives, including the establishment of a drug rehabilitation center and a nursing college, the upgrading of Sodor Hospital, and reforms in the education system in Ramganj and Lokhipur. He urged that these reforms be implemented before the upcoming election. Those institutions and her brokers must be uprooted and justice served, including for the fascist murderer Hasina. Trials are ongoing in tribunals for those involved in killings and enforced disappearances, and that any future government will continue these proceedings. Jamaat Amir returns home. Bangladesh Jamaat-e-Islami Amir Dr. Shafiqur Rahman returned to Dhaka today after performing Umrah in Saudi Arabia and completing visits to the United States, the United Kingdom, and Turkey. He arrived at Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport around 5:30 a.m. and was welcomed with flowers by party leaders and activists at the VIP lounge. Dr. Rahman told reporters that during his 8-day stay in the United States, he held meetings in New York, Buffalo, Michigan, and Washington, D.C. with government officials, non-government representatives, and members of the Bangladeshi diaspora. He emphasized two key messages for expatriates. Bangladesh belongs to all of us, and the importance of their contributions in the struggle against repression and autocracy. The Jamaat Amir also stressed the need to grant voting rights to expatriates, urging the Election Commission to extend the voter registration deadline by at least 15 days and accept national ID cards and valid passports as proof of citizen without requiring utility bills or tax receipts. On his return from Turkey, Dr. Rahman held meetings with government and private representatives and Bangladeshi expatriates, promoting respectful and equitable international relations. Regarding political matters, he said Jamaat will announce its final election candidates on time, welcomed government calls for dialogue among parties, and expressed hope that the next election will be held in February. Millions of Americans to get reduced food aid during shutdown, says Trump administration. The White House will send partial food stamp payments to 42 million Americans as the government shutdown nears a record length, officials told a federal court on Monday. Two federal courts last week ordered President Donald Trump's administration to use $4.65 billion from an emergency fund toward the $9 billion needed for November's supplemental nutrition assistance program payments. In a filing to a Rhode Island court, the Agriculture Department said it would not cover the remaining cost with other funds, meaning only 50% of eligible households will receive their usual allotments. The shutdown, now heading into its 36th day, has paralyzed public services nationwide. At the center of the deadlock is funding for Affordable Care Act subsidies, also known as Obamacare, which help over 20 million Americans afford health insurance. Those subsidies are set to expire at year's end, threatening major premium hikes unless Congress acts. Democrats refuse to reopen the government without a deal to extend those subsidies, while Republicans say negotiations will begin only after government operations resume. The SNAP program, which provides an average of $356 per household, ran out of funding on Saturday, leaving 1 in 8 Americans uncertain about their next meal. A federal judge temporarily allowed the use of emergency funds, but Democrats slammed the president for covering only part of the payments. That's all for now. For more updates, visit bssnews.net. Thanks for watching.